Hey everyone, this is Daniel from Arito, and in this short demo, we want to show you how Arito creates, maintains, and improves its knowledge base based on the user interaction. The knowledge base is essentially the business context, everything that Arito has learned from the user and how the user define its business metrics, the business workflows, the business context, etc. Everything is kind of represented in Arito's knowledge base, and we want to show you how this interaction with the user improves this knowledge base. So essentially, these interactions are kind of feedback loop for Arito to learn and adjust its knowledge base to better represent the business logic of the customer. And this is kind of the demo. We want to start by showing roughly the Arito platform. And we're not going to go too much into all the features and capabilities. And the main focus for today is the knowledge base. So the most basic concept in Arito is the concept of spaces. Spaces are here managed at the top. Here we have just one space called Arcadia, but we can have multiple spaces, obviously. Each space has its own users. Here we have a number of users. We can set their permissions, obviously. We have dashboards. User can create as many dashboards as they want. We have a very strong text-to-dashboard engine. A user can create any type of dashboard with any type of widget from any type of data source. It's very, very flexible with data filtering capability, obviously. We have data sources, so they can be SaaS applications, it can be data warehouses. We have files, spreadsheets that we can connect. And obviously we have the context. So in the context, we have three groups, which are kind of instructions the user have given. We have playbooks, which are predefined guidelines for how to calculate business metrics. And we have data modeling, which is how to augment the existing schemas. All of this is kind of managed in a knowledge base, which is basically has two parts. The first part is a version controlled wiki. We can see all the versions here and obviously retrieve any one that we want. These wiki have different pages. Each page can include definition of terms, explanation on data sources, and basically everything that the agent has learned. And this kind of continues to be maintained and updated by user feedback. The second part of the knowledge base is a knowledge graph, which shows how different data sources are connected to each other. It can be, for example, Salesforce and Gong. It can be BigQuery, a data warehouse, and it even can be Excel files or spreadsheets, Google Sheets. They all contain a lot of business knowledge. And here we can see that even if we add, for example, Google Sheets or Excel files, then these are also added to our knowledge graph and to our semantic layer, which is a very, very powerful capability. For every data source, we can see all the different terms, whether they are, for example, a data modeling that we can see that the user has created, whether they are AI created. We can see all of those terms and semantic constructs here. And I think the idea here is that everything together is kind of managed by the agent, this knowledge base. So if we go and ask Arito a question like, hey, show me the MRR of a strategic account, Arito can come back and say, hey, I don't know what a strategic account means. So user can provide some feedback on what a strategic account actually means, and Arito learns from this feedback. So later we'll see how this is actually represented in a knowledge base. Arito learns from that and goes back and updates its knowledge base, obviously based on the user permissions. Not for every user it does that, and we have a very sophisticated scoring mechanism for these kind of updates, but these are kind of all represented as a semantic construct. So for example, Arito suggests to add this as a construct. We go on and kind of add this as an instruction of what we mean by a strategic account. And if we go to our instructions page, we can see that on the top left, this new instruction has been created. And those instructions are all very, very important for Arito, because that's kind of Arito who learns from the user. And now we're going to go and kind of create a dashboard. As I mentioned, we have a great text to dashboard capability. We just tell Arito what we want, and Arito kind of analyzes that and comes back with some suggestions on what dashboard Arito thinks is best for our use cases. Arito gives us a list of graphs, including their type, and it even gives us the filters, the data dimensions. Here we see date and account, and if kind of say create, it kind of goes to it's dashboard creating mode. On the right side, we can see the conversation. On the left side, we're going to see the dashboard slowly coming into life. So it kind of goes, it's just 4 widgets, so it shouldn't take much time for Arito to create this dashboard. Obviously, user can provide feedback and build dashboard as big as they want. If they want to have 10 widgets with additional filters, etc., all of that is possible. I think the filtering and the data dimension detection capability is very important, because that kind of shows Arito really understands the data and different dimensions of the data and adds them as filters to every dashboard that it creates. We're going to wait a couple of moments more. And here it is. We have the dashboard. You can see on the top left we have date range and account, and these are the different widgets. Obviously, we can provide Arito more feedback and ask Arito to change them or amend or add additional widgets to this graph very easily. Now, one thing that we're going to do, we're going to upload a new file. Let's say I have an additional file that kind of shows some more information on my strategic accounts. I'm going to give some context of what this file is. And in this file, we're going to show you an example where there is an implied definition of the term strategic account that kind of is not exactly what we defined before. And we're going to show you how conflicts are handled by Arito. We're going to wait until this file is uploaded. Arito understands the file automatically. It knows what's happening inside the file without we are really telling him. So for example, here we have a strategic account, and there is some formula there on the background that Arito kind of understands, and basically based on this file, Arito can make sense of this file and understand how a strategic account has been scored by the user. And Arito comes back and tells us, hey, listen, this explanation that you have given in this file of a strategic account is not exactly the one that you gave me as an instruction. What shall we do about this? And it gives us kind of 2 options to choose from, whether to revert to the previous definition or kind of choose the new one, and kind of gives us exactly, we have a history, we have a change history of this knowledge base, which is version control. Like I mentioned, we store this in a Git repository, so it's very easy to kind of maintain and be able to kind of version control, which is very important. Let's say I choose one of the Arito suggestions, and after I choose the Arito suggestion, I'm just going to accept that. And after that, we're going to see that the new knowledge base is actually now updated according to the user preferences. Now, if the knowledge base has been updated, that dashboard that I built shall kind of also be updated. So we have given the user the capability to sync the dashboard to the latest knowledge base. And what's going to happen here is Arito is kind of re-editing the entire dashboard from ground up, because the term strategic account has been used in dashboard many times, and there might be also other assets that are reliant on the knowledge base. And if the knowledge base changes, we give the user the capability to go back to the all the artifacts that the user has created and update them and sync them to the latest version of the knowledge graph. You can see Arito kind of goes to the Excel file, the spreadsheet that we had, because we told them, okay, use the spreadsheet as the source of truth right now and not the instruction. So goes there, understands what the strategic account is, pulls out all the data from Salesforce, and eventually comes back and gives us a summary and give us some options and basically asks us for more feedback on how do we want to proceed and whether we want to adopt some definitions or other definitions. Arito really makes the human to be in the loop all the time, so the user always has a lot of control over what's happening. After we provide that feedback, Arito kind of goes back and starts editing these widgets. As you can see, the blue line is kind of shows the which widget is now being edited, and it goes and edits the ones that Arito feels that are relevant, which in this case is kind of most of the edits. So now it's going to edit the second one. Obviously, it can edit multiple widgets at the same time. There's a parallelism here for the agent to perform multiple tasks at the same time for the purpose of saving time. We're just trying to wait until this dashboard is updated. So Arito comes back, give us a summary of what has happened, showed us all the 4 widgets have been updated, and we say once we save that, the graphs obviously adopt themselves, and now we have the updated artifact based on the latest knowledge base that we have. So in this kind of video, we showed you how user interaction, how users can affect the knowledge base, how Arito learns from the user, gives feedback from the user, and kind of connects all the dots on the background and maintains that knowledge base. And that knowledge base, we think, is one of the biggest assets of every company that they can have, because that knowledge base is actually built based on the feedback from business users, which are the ones that actually hold the business knowledge. And that's kind of one of the most valuable aspects of Arito. We make the business user to be at the driver's seat, and that business user provides feedback to Arito, and that business knowledge, which many times is kind of tribal knowledge, is actually translated into something that an agent can tap into. So that's it for today. Thank you.